video is not Battle Brothers. Just one thing, guys. Three Kingdoms will be great. Oh man, you almost make me want to go watch Three Kingdoms videos with you guys and rant about it. Not came here. You use your imagination, Rubio. Use your imagination. What was that? Battle Brothers Part 28. Use your imagination, man. $3K rent. So who did post that 3K video? Was it Arcade? Anybody got a link to it? Let's see what Arcade says. We can end the stream after just a few hours. Can somebody get a link? I'm gonna get something to drink. I'm back, boys. Where were we? Let me just update this thing here. What was it? It's called Black Monolith. Okay, sorry for the loud typing. Where were we? Okay, enough about this shit. So it's a good chance I'll play some Imperator Rome, but man, 4 more months, you crazy? Warhammer chaosbane, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. I don't have to play another Diablo 3 season. This is historical. What the hell? In a world ravaged by war and dominated by magic, you must rise up to face the chaos hordes, playing solo or with up to 4 players in local or online co-op. Choose a hero from 4 character classes and prepare for epic battles wielding some of the most powerful artifacts in the old world. You know, the reason why I want to play this game just for the lore. Just for the lore. But look at this. RPG, adventure, action, war, historical. What the hell? What? Looks like a hack and slash game to me. Family friendly, historical, Warhammer game. Okay, they might be taking the piss here. A family friendly, historical game, Warhammer. Since when? Let's see the trailer. Ooh, I see a high elf wizard.
Long before the reign of our glorious Karl Franz, the bloodthirsty tribes of the North united and invaded the Empire of Man. The Great War against Chaos raged on, up until Magnus the Pious rallied the citizens of Nuln, resisted the enemy, and defeated the Chaos leader, known as the Everchosen, scattering the invaders in the process. But the forces of Chaos have crawled back from the shadows to strike at the Empire. Unless something is done, the Empire of Man will again descend into darkness and turmoil.
And I want to play this game just for the lore. Play a hack and slash game just for the lore. I'm gonna become a Warhammer bandwagon guy.
My name is Chris, from the team working on Warhammer chaosbane. Today, we're gonna take a look at the first Warhammer.
Oh man, graphics are crisp.
The story takes place shortly after the Great War against Chaos. Just as the Empire of Man finally seems to be out of the clutches of danger, a new threat emerges that will upset the balance of power. And it's up to you and your allies to confront it.
A Diablo clone Warhammer, hell yeah!
Our journey begins in the sewers of Nuln, the current Imperial capital. As you can see, the sewers are infested by servants of the god Nurgle, the Chaos god of disease and decay. A number of his minions have come to greet us, including Nurglings, cultists, and the ever-unpredictable Chaos Spawn. I'm playing as a captain of the Empire, Conrad Valen.
Captain of the
Valen
Empire.
is strong and tenacious, an ideal character if you enjoy melee combat. In Warhammer chaosbane, each class has its own unique gameplay style, and a variety of skills that complement that style and the other classes. As a melee specialist, the Imperial Captain can endure a lot of damage, apply crowd control, and turn large hordes of enemies to his and his allies' favor. Speaking of allies, it would be good to have some ranged support to dish out some extra damage. So, I'm going to invite a friend to join me.
Hold on, I'll pause it. 20k damage on level 1, why? Probably have some Korean people working on this game. That's why.
My party in local co-op.
They're everywhere.
All he needs to do is pick up a controller and press a button. There. I've been joined by the High Elf Elantir.
Oh man, the magic's cool.
From a distance. However, he is much weaker in melee combat, and has to keep his enemies at bay by using all the spells in his arsenal. Each class has its own unique ability. Elantir is able to control the placement
Looks like it's played on console
and redirect them on a whim. You'll face various monsters in the game, Whether the weaker Nurglings, or more powerful foes like chaosbane and Beast of Nurgle, you'll need to come up with unique strategies to defeat these creatures. Next up is a very powerful foe. Mutaliths are abominations, mutated by the power of chaos and infused with
Guys,
magic, making them much.
you don't play this game for Ken Slash. You play it for the Warhammer lore, right? Am I right? Modaria asks, any chance I played Hearts of Iron 4? No, I have not played it. I'm not interested in the World War 1 and World War 2 games. I just have no interest playing it. But the chaosbane, wow. I want to play just for the lore. Sewers in Null infested by Nurgle.
Much more difficult to defeat. To help, we'll activate Bloodlust, a devastating skill that gives you extra speed and new powers for a limited time. The duration and number of new skills is based on your Bloodlust level, so you'll have to choose the best time to unleash your fury.
It definitely looks like Diablo 3
Once the Mutalith has
clone.
been defeated, you're free to finish exploring the dungeon. For now, it looks like our quest is coming to an end. We hope you enjoyed this first look at Warhammer Chaosbane. Make sure you follow our social media channels for more details and gameplay videos, and I'll see you next time.
I'm looking forward to this one. And guys, we can play it in co-op. You can play a dwarf. So you can play Empire Captain. You can play a High Elf Wizard. And what do we say here? 4 character classes. Dwarf, specializing in melee combat. You can play a dwarf. Hell yeah! So, Emperor Captain, a dwarf, not sure what kind of dwarf. High elf and a wood elf. So, there is Empire dwarves and the elves here. An XL bestiary with over 70 monsters aligned to the Chaos Gods and unique bosses. High replay value, has 10 difficulty levels, like 10 torments. This definitely look like they cloned Diablo 3 and made it in the Warhammer universe, which is not a bad thing. I want to see more Warhammer lore. And I'm gonna play some of this when it gets released. Full control support. Interesting. Have I tried Vermintide? Yes. I didn't like it. This is something that interests me, so I put it on my wish list for later. Historical? What the hell? Mordheim. I taken a look at Mordheim, and I'm not sure about it, Fjarovich. What is this game? Warhammer Chaosbane. It's coming this year. It does look something I'm interested in. Hope it won't be a disaster like Inquisitor Martyr, yeah. It's hard with the Warhammer games, man. They just try to, put Warhammer on it and think it's gonna sell. Class gender option. What, a female captain? What the hell is that nonsense? No witch hunter equals heresy. Endless progression, fun loot. You're studying a Civ 6 game. Can you pick a nation for me? Ooh. Babylon or Germany? Babylon or Germany? Japan. Sumeria, Scarje, my bad, it's Sumeria. When I met Babel, met Sumeria, it's the same shit. Is it Sumeria? The name they use in Civ 6. Summer. Germany is super strong in the Civilization 6. Yeah, yeah. Gilgamesh, pretty much, you know, the Hercules legend was made upon him. Sumeria, yeah. Endless Space 2 is free for the weekend. The original is free to keep. What do you mean? Original is free to keep. I don't know, guys. I've been trying to make myself start a new game in Endless Space 2, but I feel like it's just gonna be more of the same. A pretty game with no depth. Just click buttons. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's still, I don't feel like playing it. Why did these topics get closed? I actually was checking on one topic here. Perfectly explain what I was feeling about a game. Looks like it's got closed as well. Yeah, this one. This is pretty much what I feel. But why would you play the Endless Space when there's Endless Space 2? Stop releasing playable race and fix the game. It's easier just to add more content than actually make something else. Fix the play style. It's like the CA with Rome 2. They just keep releasing campaign packs instead of trying to improve the Grand Campaign. Improving Grand Campaign doesn't make the money. New campaign packs makes money. You guys have any questions? Now is pretty much the best time to ask. We're just chatting here. So there was a Festac beta update. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more of Festac beta updates. It's just the first one. They still forgot to change all the stuff. Any chance for WoW stream? No, no chance. Yeah, they added the skills back to the heroes. I don't like how they fixed Isabella. I don't like how they fixed Isabella. They just put her attack and defense for the bats, no extra AP damage. I think it was the wrong way to do it. How do I like Battlefield Gothic Armada 2? I have not played it, so I can't really tell you, but I'm not planning to play it. Wood Elves fix? Yeah, that was a Wood Elves fix. I actually made a screenshot. Look at this. They fixed the typo, guys. It was a typo. So, Ariot, Bringer of Fire, there were two typos in it. They fixed one typo. This used to say plus 20%. 20%. And it was given 20 flat. So they removed percentage so nobody's confused. But they left the other typo in it. Look at that missile. It's missing one S. Half S as usual. So they fix one typo but leave the other one. It's like, it's mind-boggling. It's like they want to get mocked on purpose. One type of fixed, other type of stays. I don't know, man. I don't know. Airways is still on #1 spot. But I have like what is this? 5,300 hours nearly in Warhammer Total Wars. There's a lot of campaigns, guys, in Total War Warhammer. A lot of campaigns. I think we have like over 50 campaigns in YouTube. That was just with Warhammer 2. In Warhammer 1, we played 77 campaigns, I think. Do you have a link, Splurge? I would like to watch this together with you guys. I don't feel like playing anything right now, so might as well go rent something. Clicker Heroes being rank 5, it's, you know, guys, I've been using 2 monitors for years. I have been running Clicker Heroes on my second monitor for 2 years in the past. Have I played Tropico? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Not much, though. Played it for 27 hours, Tropico 4. Do you have the YouTube link for Arcade? I think we can put it on YouTube as well. I need a 40k hours to be a true fan, but you're not playing a 40k game. You know, there's not a single 40k game that deserves 4,000 hours. This was AFK most of it, AFK most of it, AFK most of it. The Civilization games, Total War games were pretty much, if you remove coffee breaks and lunch breaks, everything was played on stream. This one and this one was 99% on stream. Over 99%. Some people, you know, wanted off-stream multiplayer, so I obliged, but I stopped doing it ages ago. See a VIP game? What is a VIP game? What are you talking about? You missed the update on the update. We'll talk more about it in a week. Does Arcade have a YouTube? Let's see. Let's go watch Arcade's video instead of watching anybody else. I think he has a YouTube. Yeah, Arcade has been grabbed by the CA, I feel. Okay. Oh, we're not ending the stream. No search result. Fop Infinity? What do you mean Fop Infinity? What was the video? Yeah, let's see what Arcade says. I don't see it on YouTube. New League of Legends season. It has seasons there. What are they doing there in seasons? Hold on. Let me see meme though. Let me see. League of Legends. Not such thing, man. I'm sorry. League of Maidens. What is this? Oh, my bad. Not allowed to show that shit. What the hell? Who makes games like that? Abort. Let's ask Arca's permission if we can watch it on stream. Okay, we can watch it here. It's short, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Let's see, boys. Let's see. Exit full screen. Oh, we can see the chat. We can see the chat as well. Let's see if somebody was shit talking. Let's see. Before we go watch this, I want to say a couple of words about Three Kingdoms. You know, I've been making a little fun of it. You know, 50 Shades of Dragons, Alien Kingdoms. You know, China has pretty foreign culture for the West. You know, games like Shogun 2 and Three Kingdoms, the selling point of these games is a foreign culture full of flavor. So they try to invite you with culture, and a lot of people will not get will not care about this. They will not care about this. They pretty much even don't care about their own cultures, being American or whatever. They would care, you know, about different historical periods, and you know, that's fine with this. Might you get into it, but trying to care more about it. But I'm one of those people who doesn't care much about the Asian culture, especially there, and especially in a Total War setting. You know, like Shogun 2, it has a very strong flavor with their culture, and you might like it after a while, but it's just not the same like playing you know, ancient world in Europe or medieval period. It's just not the same for me. So I want to get this out first. I do not have any interest in that period, and I think the game lacks variety, and due to this will have no replay value. So not have anything against them, just same as the Shogun 2. It will lack variety, and it will lack replay value. And tell me I'm wrong here, I'll fight you on it. There'll be no variety and no replay value, and this is why I don't want to invest time and effort learning something new that I know it's not gonna be there with replay value. And you know me, guys, above anything else, I value the replay value. So I feel like it's gonna be missing it. And seeing some of the stuff related to Three Kingdoms, you know, just confirmed my fears. I'm like, you know, I call it, guys. You know, I had this thing with Transmedia, and you know, it was a mess. And I see it here as well. I see a lot of things I don't like. I did enjoy some of Transmedia, but they just messed up more, in my opinion. And we need this game to be successful, more successful than Transmedia. Otherwise, we'll not get good support for Warhammer 3. And we will never see Medieval 3 if this game doesn't shit golden eggs. Anyways, enough mumbo jumbo. Let's see what Arcade has for us. My bad. What was it? Murder the Cheat Wizard. Thank you guys for your support. Let's watch this. This is from Arcade. You guys know Arcade. He's another Total War streamer. Starting situation hard.
Humility keeps one honest.
Liu Bei sees chaos in the face of Dong Zhuo.
Guys, hold on, guys, let's pause it. Thank God there is a woman telling you how to pronounce these names. Thank God.
And will not rest until the tyrant's corruption is uprooted.
It's just a bunch of land, as you can see here.
Embers rise, stark against the night. The tyrant Dong Zhuo wields the flames of destruction. Luoyang burns. Chaos ignites as the power of the eunuchs is crushed. In the pyre, the hand falters. Yet the light of the dynasty still simmers in the hearts of its last descendants. Liu Bei swore an oath with his brothers. They pledged their lives. They will defend the Han. Nobody else can.
What the hell is this?
China is in turmoil. The great empire of the Han, stretching back ages beyond counting, is being devoured by corruption. The Yellow Turbans, thousands strong, began raising their banners in rebellion and seizing commanderies across the realm. In response, generals loyal to the Emperor rose up and put down the rebellion, killing their leader, Zhang Jiao.
Zhang Jiao? I swear she said it different the last time.
Despite the victory, the chaos only grew. With the corruption at the very heart of the Empire, the loyal generals stormed the Imperial Palace and killed the 10 eunuchs, the source of China's ills. In the madness, the warlord Dong Zhuo seized the Emperor. With the great warrior Lü Bu at his side, none dared oppose him. In response to Dong Zhuo's brazen display, treason some call it, a coalition of warlords rose up, led by the charismatic Yuan Shao, to save the Han. Faced with united opposition, Dong Zhuo retreated west to his stronghold of Chang'an, razing the old capital Luoyang to the ground as he fled. It is now the year 190 CE, and the coalition has all but collapsed. Warlords on all sides have seen opportunities to build their own fortunes from the chaos. Yellow Turban remnants still stalk the lands, seeking the age of the yellow sky, whilst soldiers of fortune feel the change of fate on the wind and strike out on their own. The scales shift, and China hangs in the balance. Luoyang lies in ruin, my lord.
This tyranny is barbaric. What of the people?
Dong Zhuo has fled west to Chang'an, with the young Emperor Xian his captive.
He holds my nephew at sword point.
The coalition delays and wastes time. You are poised, ready to strike now. Though we are fortunate to be under the protection of Lord Gon Xuanzan, the time may be coming to forge our own path.
But Yellow Turbans and bandits still persist. There must be justice. The people deserve peace.
Your sworn brothers are ready to fight. Their oaths were bound long ago. Dong Zhuo's treason must face justice. We are arrows on the wind, my lord. We fly wherever you command.
With heaven!
Fly wherever you command.
Can't click a button like that. Hold on, hold on. Oh man. Can't even see.
Harmony behind us. Harmony ahead.
I will toast to your health and our victory.
Let us test the mettle of these new foes.
Time for them to die.
Hi everyone and welcome to my channel.
Hey Arkard.
So this is the first look at Three Kingdoms, and what you just saw there was the intro to Luo Bay. Now this is the first fight. Before we get into it though, the first thing you need to know is that this army is the strongest starting army in the campaign. So obviously this is the first fight, and with the strongest army, it's understandable that it will be over fairly quickly. One thing that I wanted to show here was just dueling.
Look at this, it says the role of the unit arm.
Now this is the romanticized version, which instead of your lord having his own retinue, where he's got his bodyguards and is defended, and you would want to generally keep him in the back, in the romance version of
Guys,
the game,
guys,
your
is
lord's
it...
very strong.
I have to pause here, I'm sorry guys, I have to pause here. Please tell me it's not only me, but it looks like they're levitating. They're not even running.
You're okay sending them against hundreds of normal soldiers. Keep them in the back.
Look how the
In
units are
romance
moving.
version of the game, your lord's very strong, and you're okay
They're
sending
just
them against hundreds of
levitating,
normal soldiers.
hovering over the ground.
You
guys see them running?
And one of our sworn brothers who has joined us in this campaign has declared a duel against the enemy commander. Now, in this version of the game, I believe our generals and heroes are generally a little bit buffed up, hence why Guan
It doesn't seem like running.
to one-shot the enemy general. However, while these feats of strength might not be as mighty as this one, I understand it to be that in the romanticized version of the game, your lords and heroes can become absolutely...
Look how fast this shit is, man. They just touched them all routed.
Upon winning the duel, the enemy...
This is wrong. Just touch them and they're all routed. This is worse than Rome Total War. Guys, remember Rome Total War? You send in your Hastati, they swing their sword twice, the enemy routes. Have you seen how they're routed? I guess he said he has a strong army in the beginning, but nobody routes that fast. This looks like large scale as well.
Army suffers a debuff to their morale. That, combined with our overwhelming forces, we are able to rout the rest of the
Why
enemy
does
army.
historical Total Wars always have the
While you're
shitty
usually to
battle
the death,
duration?
You can actually choose to run away with your general.
I
This
smell
results in
multiplayer
your
at
general
work.
being shattered and fleeing the battlefield. You will no longer be able to have control of them or call them back.
Guys, you see this shit? They're like ghosts!
With our victory assured,
Look how the units are
I'm going
moving.
to take the time to actually show you some other formations that, as far as I understand,
Look at that, they're like
with
flying
our
over the
victory
terrain.
your general.
Look
This
at how the
results
units are
in your
moving.
general being shattered and fleeing
You
the
guys see
battlefield.
running? They just...
You will no longer be able
It's
to
like-
have control of them or
It's like they're just like one of them kung fu movies and just sliding over terrain. Sliding, not even running.
call them back. As far as I
You
understand.
see how the units are moving?
With our victory assured, I'm going to take
It's
the time
horrible.
to actually show you some other formations that you can actually perform.
They have to
with
fix this
your
shit.
units later on in the game.
They're just
This is
sliding.
a representation of all of the formations, just a few of them that CA has been kind enough to actually show us. I also want to just... The enemy army suffers a debuff to their morale. That, combined with our overwhelming forces, we are able to rout the rest of the enemy army. While duels are usually to the death, you can
Guess,
actually
look how the
choose to
units
run
are
away
moving.
with your general. This results in
Look at that on the left. Look at that one. Look at it here.
Battlefield. You will no longer be able to usually choose
Look at this
death.
shit.
You can actually choose to run away with your general. This
What
results
the
in your
hell?
general being shattered and fleeing the battlefield. We are
What
able
the-
to rout the
Come
rest of the
on!
enemy army. While duels are usually to the death,
Look at
you
this.
can actually choose to run away with your general.
What the hell is that?
This results
It's
in
like
your
they're not
general
even moving their
being
legs.
and fleeing the battlefield.
They're not even
You will
moving
no
their
longer have
legs.
control of them or call them back. As far as I understand.
Must be a glitch where they're not running, just sliding through terrain.
I'm gonna take
They have
the
no-
time
no
to
leg
show you some
movement.
Other formations that death.
Look at
you
that.
can actually choose to run away with your general. This results in your general being shattered.
What the
and fleeing
heck?
the battlefield.
That's
You will
messed
no longer
up.
be
Clip
able to
that
control
shit.
them or call
We need
them
clip for that shit.
back. While
Look at
duels are
this.
Usually to the death, you can actually choose to run away with your general.
No leg movement.
This
They're just
results in
sliding
your
over
general being
terrain.
Shattered and fleeing the battlefield. You will no longer be able to have control of them or call them back.
Is this what to make the game more optimized?
With our victory assured, I'm going to take the time to actually show you some other formations that you can actually perform with your units later on in the game.
Hold on, guys. Let
This
me
is
just
not-
pause this for a second. I saw somebody in the chat. Hey, Nerdy Fitness. I have to say hi. He says the preview build was on normal for all these press people. So, Arcad was playing this where? In the CA? So, this is not on his PC. This is a CA computer. Because that sliding on terrain, the legs are not even moving, they're just flying over terrain. It must look like it's some kind of way to improve performance so the game goes smooth on faster speed. It looks really bad. It must be some kind of downside to improving performance. Because it does run, it looks like it's running smooth. It's just a very poor rendering there. But the calm is not even that even far. Yeah, I agree with that.
Just a few of them that CA have been kind enough to actually show us. I also want to just point out that you can rematch your fights after you do them, even if you win or lose. This formation that you see the regiment performing is called the Hollow Square.
Oh, I do like the look of this.
How it's going to be used in the campaign, I'm not too sure.
We need shit like this in Warhammer.
It's extremely interesting. The next formation, which is about to be performed, is the Shield Rule, which I imagine will be very good against infantry charges.
What are all these formations there for when the battles end in 3 seconds? Yeah, the looks get...
And finally, we see...
Hold on, guys. Sorry for all the pausing, but we're gonna be pausing a lot. Another feat is there is no leg movement. They do not move their legs. They just slide over terrain. So, this looks good. This looks good, but let me tell you one thing. Rome 2 looks good when nobody's fighting, when they do deploy everything in formation. Just deploy everything into Studo, make everything look fancy at the beginning of the battle, and then all the fighting starts, and it doesn't look so good anymore.
Now, one thing I'm hoping to be able to do with these formations is the ability to turn while in them, which you couldn't do in Thrones of Britannia. And finally, we come to the wedge formation with the cavalry charge.
The formations look good.
Personally, but I did do rear charges in my gameplay through, and they were devastating. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like with the wedge formation. Now, we don't know what the stats are going to be like because this was just a development build, and the stats are likely to change, but it's really cool to see that they are in the game. So I really think with the inclusion of all these formations, the
cavalry just stops, doesn't go through.
A lot of people who are missing that kind of depth in Warhammer are really going to like it in Three Kingdoms. And there could be even more formations.
This charge reminds me of Shogun 2.
This is a larger scale battle. How big the battles can get is going to be interesting. Considering with Total War Warhammer, you could have a maximum of 20 units in your army, with 40 friendly units being on the map at any one time. However,
the rate of casualties is unreal.
You now have your general and heroes.
This is way too fast.
Also, while in the same army,
this can of course be adjusted.
So
when the Rome 2 was released, sorry guys for pause again. When Rome 2 was released, any units with high attack like Praetorian Guard, they would just their sword hand would start spinning, you know, like Popeye. They would start spinning and they would like kill 10 guys a second. And everybody was like that. Depending on their attacks, attack rating, the units would just be dying like 10 per second, 20 per second. If you've seen me play Thrones of Britannia, you would see guys 10, 20 kills per second. This has always been a problem with historical games. And over time they adjust this a little, but it's still way too fast. Way too fast. And the rate of casualties seems also way too fast here. And why is it so? So you can provide, you know, phase-based action in multiplayer, because, you know, single player doesn't really matter for this, right? Instead of making a mode which would make more realistic battles, where your guys are not Popeye swinging their sword 10 times a second, it's like the rate of casualties is way too fast. I think anybody who played these games, historical games from the start, way too fast. It's like Rome Total War, you had really fast battles. Morale would break fast and it would just end. Unless you had bottlenecks or city defense, it was way too fast. You didn't see this when you install some mods. It was adjusted a little in Medieval 2. Medieval 2 was probably like the first Total War game that had a nice pace battles. It was not too fast, it was not too slow. It was just nice pace. Unless you send in some damage dealer like heavy cavalry, you would not be able to kill them fast. And then again, you know, I'm gonna skip the Emperor Total War because the Emperor Total War this was nonsense outside the sea battles. Shogun 2, again, super fast. Super fast. Back to pretty much almost Rome Total War speed. And same shit was early Rome Total War. And this again looks like way too fast. It's not as fast as the early Rome Total War or the Shogun 2, but it's there. It's there.
Never actually got to check out, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the live release. as you can see, one of our generals has just engaged.
Look at the rate of casualties, man. There are like 30 people dying per second. If you look at the numbers going down.
If your generals are mounted, they will charge each other until one is dismounted. They will then go.
These battles could take days, at least a whole half a day, and the people would not be dying by the second. Of course, when a big conflict is, they were dying by the hundreds, but every second, no. It just really poorly represent these historical games.
Both go to foot and engage in actual hand-to-hand combat. Now, while this is going on, it actually makes an invisible barrier around.
Look at all these casualties everywhere.
Infantry units can't bypass.
And this is regular
which
speed.
Makes for the circle around your generals while the war ranges on around them. Now, it's really amazing to watch these two generals interact. One thing I would love to know, though, is if the animations represent how well the duel is going, or if the actual math that decides how much damage is lost is just something that kind of goes in the background and you don't.
Hold on, Strackland, he said that this was the strongest army in the beginning of the game. So this is not just regular troops. They're supposed to be like good units.
Now, these duels can end in one of two ways. Either you can run away with your general, or the general is defeated. Now, the fight that we're about to see here takes place in a minor city siege. Now, if you're like me and you're used to playing Total War Warhammer, the minor city sieges there are normally held on open ground unless they have
with towers.
However, in Total War 3 Kingdoms, these fights, I believe even without the walls, have these choke points which you can defend.
Why are the towers there if there are no walls? Why would you build a tower and not a wall?
As well as the fact that these choke points.
Why would you build a tower and not a palisade?
Help you defend. It's the fact that you have these multiple fronts now that you have to control your army.
What the hell?
Something that I really like.
What happened there?
Having out the walls have these choke points which you can.
He set his own tower on fire.
Now the really interesting thing that I like about this, as well as the fact that these choke points all have watchtowers that help you defend, is the fact that you have these multiple fronts now.
It didn't even hit this thing is set on fire.
Which is something that I really like doing. Having multiple fronts that you have to switch between and maintain.
It looks like the tower has a head on fire.
Is something I
one of them raiding heads.
In these siege fights. Now, one of the things you may notice is one of the watchtowers actually.
The thing just instantly set on fire. Shogun 2 speed set on fire.
The choke points and the ability to take advantage of them is going to be limited by how big your armies are. But I imagine that this city isn't even as big as the minor settlements can get, which means when you're playing into the late game and you have huge armies against huge armies.
Thank you, Dirty. Thank you for the Twitch Prime.
It's going to be extremely interesting to see how.
Oh man, the fire damage again.
And what we have here is either it's an ally or somehow the defender has managed to get some cavalry out the back and is going in.
I have to say the banners look really good.
Now, I know from experience that rear charge
kinda remind me of Middle 2.
Absolutely devastating. They destroy.
This is some really poor graphics here.
So I'm pretty sure they probably won that fight. Now moving on from there, what we're seeing here is actually a coastal siege. Now, unfortunately, during my time playing the game, I didn't get a look at the coastal siege myself.
So,
I don't know
to me, guys, it looks like a cavalry unit will have up to 40 horse and ultra, and the infantry units will be 160. It looks like they haven't changed the size of the units at all. This looks to me like large scale. So large, like 30 horses, 120 infantry, and ultra will be 40, 160. So it looks like they reduced the amount of cavalry in the unit, which kind of tells me they either don't want to have the cavalry to be that dominant multiplayer-wise, because this is a historical game where cavalry rules, or they made the cavalry way stronger but less in number. The cavalry is probably going to be not that good on a highest difficulty single player due to this. This looks like multiplayer balancing again.
Have your armies be deployed from the sea to help defend or attack, if depending on.
It's been scaled down for Warhammer from 60 to 40.
But I really like the idea of it because it kind of cuts.
Maybe some cavalry units are going to be bigger.
And so you only have to defend the one side. unless of course you are actually able to attack from the sea as well, in which case it does add to the strategy, which you're going to be able to use against these coastal cities. So it's going to be really interesting to see if you can have ships.
Hold on, what was it there?
Of course, we haven't seen...
They are minor settlement battles, and they are city battles with walls. Full city battles, yes, it's not going to be like Warhammer.
Interesting.
This is a fantasy mod, maybe this.
For a long time, and that
but the cavalry units don't feel right.
In the battle maps.
What can 40 horses do against 160 men?
So from the
it's not European heavy cavalry.
From the footage that I've watched, it looks like battles are gonna be more in depth.
If I'm not mistaken, guys, I'm not really familiar with 100% correct this. The Chinese cavalry didn't use shields. I might be wrong at this. Somebody correct me. But I am fairly sure the Chinese cavalry didn't use shields, or they were very, very small. So which means they'll be weak to archers. And it's only 30 of them or 40 of them. That looks bad.
Formations and what you can do with those, with the lords and the heroes, and the fact that lords and heroes also give different buffs to the units that are assigned to them, and especially with the different maps. And this is something I am definitely looking forward to getting my teeth into when the game goes live. Now, moving on from the battles, we're going to take
I would say that most of their cavalry didn't use a shield. Some of them use small shields. Might be mistaken in that, but their armor is not that vulnerable to arrows. But since this is a game where you have to balance things, the arrows are going to be way more deadly than they're supposed to be. And I feel like the cavalry is going to suffer to this because it has lower numbers.
Now, unfortunately, I didn't really get the time to actually go through all the different tech trees and check them out completely, but they were extremely interesting from what I got to see. And also, I was also aware that anything I did see in the tech trees was likely to change. Now, you can also customize your lords and heroes with a variety of weapons, armor, mounts, followers, and accessories, which become in a bunch of different ranges and have different benefits. I do know you can get these through trading them with other factions. I imagine you can also get them through events, quests, and maybe after battles and other things like that. Now, it's definitely
this menu is pretty cool looking.
To see what kind of variety you actually have in the released version of the game, and if there are going to be some weapons or armor or followers and mounts and stuff which just kind of outshine the others.
You know, to me it looks like it's the CA guy talking all these things. I don't recognize Arcard here at all. It's one of them CA guys here. I don't hear Arcard here.
And the ones that you want to go for, it's going to be interesting to see how they balance those out. Throughout your campaign, you'll actually build relationships with other characters.
It's a synth. Arc has been snatched by the CA.
Will massively impact how your campaign unfolds, because instead of it being massively related around factions, like with Total War Warhammer for instance, the campaign in Total War 3 Kingdoms is more focused around the characters themselves and their relationship with others. So to give you an understanding of just how impactful relationships can be, one of our allies died of old age. With no heir to speak of, our ally ended up giving all of his territories to us, which means we inherited all of his lands.
Form coalition.
This is just one of the many ways you can gain new territory, and it doesn't stop there. You can also
probable merit
through bribery and espionage. And keep in mind, for me to gain these territories, it meant that someone else had to lose them, which means that you can also lose these territories in the same way. An example of this would be if your main faction leader died and the heir was not liked by one of your other generals may choose to actually leave your faction and join with somebody else or go out on his own. Now what you see here is the reform tree, and while I didn't really get time to actually experience it myself, as far as what I understood, it kind of acts like your research.
Oh my god!
It's going to be interesting to explore that when the game goes live.
Holy shit!
And now we're taking a look at the building tech tree, which kind of blew me away with just how varied it was. It wasn't just a case of upgrading to the next tier. It kind of branched off into certain locations, and it reminded me a little bit of the Total War Rome tech tree, which was really refreshing. Just to know that you can actually make different decisions and build your provinces and probably make them a little bit unique. though how unique you're going to be able to make them remains to be seen, as I really didn't get the time to actually build them up, let alone look at all the different options that were available to me, or how that would impact my campaign.
Hold on, guys.
Now, when building your armies...
What's up with this flag? It's like... It's almost look like American. One of them South American flags.
In Total War 3 Kingdoms.
I don't know Chinese flags, guys, but it looks like to me.
And then your main lord can have his own generals within the army. These generals can also be assigned to their own units. Depending on the general, the units that he's given will have their own buffs. Now, this allows you to customize your army slightly more than you could in other Total War games, where you could have a section which is your infantry section, which is controlled by one lord, and then a range section which is controlled by another, and then a cavalry section controlled by another lord. How big you can build these armies, I actually didn't get to check, but it'd be interesting to see. Be aware that when you recruit units, they immediately come into your army and then replenish to get to full strength. Now what we see here is the battle map. Now you have the option
Our advisors predict a decisive victory.
Or view the map. Now, after you win the fight, you have the option to release the captives, seize the supplies, or
I like the battle loot.
Seizing the supplies is actually very important, because when you leave your territory, your supplies start going down, and once they run out, your army will start taking attrition, which will have a massive impact and will stop people from being able to send armies across the map and attack enemies that they really shouldn't be able to. Now, one of the features that I was very intrigued about, but not able to go too in-depth through, was the ability to build your officer slots. You can actually build
I don't know, guys, this looks like there's no anti-aliasing.
A whole bunch of officers around you, and you'll have to make sure that you keep them happy, otherwise they may end up leaving your
Maybe it was
faction
intended.
and taking a bunch of your territory with you. So keep this in mind when doing this. So the final note
whole map looks weird.
That I had an absolute blast playing the game. The maps looked amazing. The music as well as the detail looked great. It's going to be interesting to see how all of these different pieces that I got to explore
Sharpness
finally come together. Because obviously, if you played a Total War game, you need a while to be able to immerse yourself within the Total War game, and then actually get used to it and understand how it's going to affect all the different.
Oh man, this is like look at this, like
of your. Obviously,
look at this screen, so dark.
If you played a Total War game,
and then you're playing in 3 AM, open the other screen, bam, you're
game,
blinded.
And then actually get used to it and understand how it's going to affect all the different aspects
turn on my light.
of your game. I didn't
Bright.
get a chance to do that with the 3 hours that I had, but I did get enough of a look at the game to know that it's definitely.
This is messed up. This screen change
so
from this to that. I'm gonna go blind.
And leave any comments and thoughts that you have behind, and I will see you guys later. So take care and thank you for watching.
Hey, Chris Nature. I've been watching R cards. I don't know what this is, but I guess what is this supposed to be? I'm not sure this was him playing, but he had a video about 3 Kingdoms. Just give me one second, guys. Let's go see, since we are checking the 3K stuff. There is another YouTuber. It's probably the most popular Total War YouTuber, Lionheart. You guys probably heard about him. I think he has a video as well. Actually, it looks like he's actually playing the game. I've seen a couple of minutes of his video, and I seen some really disappointing things. So I want to show you guys. Shit, we're talking about. This is not an ASMR stream. Okay, we'll check the Lionheart's video. There's some really good stuff here you can see. It's been pointed out to me yesterday. I wasn't planning on watching this at all, but it looks like people will push a little, so it made me watch. Okay. Look at this.
Embers rise, stark against the night. The tyrant Dong Zhuo wields the flames of destruction. Luoyang burns. Chaos ignites. As the power of the eunuchs is crushed. In the pyre, the hand falters. Yet the light of the dynasty still simmers in the hearts of its last descendants. Liu Bei swore an oath with his brothers. They pledged their lives. They will defend the Han. Nobody else can.
Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I've got some preview gameplay for you guys from Total War 3 Kingdoms. I was invited up to London last week to play a preview build of the game and play through the first 30 turns of a Liu Bei campaign. I am restricted to only 20 minutes of gameplay footage from my recordings that I made while at the event, with no clip being longer than 10 minutes total. So what I've decided to do with my footage is to make a highlight video of my Liu Bei campaign, essentially an edited let's play of 20 minutes in length. I've added a commentary to the footage and I'll go through my actions that I'm making, as well as explaining some of the features and mechanics of the game as they appear in my clips. I won't be able to cover all of the features in the game in my clips today, however, once the gameplay footage has ended, I'll likely throw in some screenshots and trailers of Three Kingdoms so that I can discuss more of the features, as well as share some more of my thoughts and opinions of the game at this stage. Hopefully when I next get hands-on with Three Kingdoms, I'll be able to make a longer video where I can dive into more features. So if there's any features and mechanics in particular that you'd like to see, if and when I get early access, then let me know down in the comment section. Finally, before we jump on in and see Liu Bei in action on the campaign map, if any of you are thinking of pre-ordering Three Kingdoms and are looking for a deal and also want to support the channel at the same time, then feel free to check out the link to Games Planet in the description and pinned to the top of the comment section. They're currently running a pre-order offer valid until the 10th of March 2019, where you can save a total of 16% off the price of the game by using the code THINGDOM5 at the checkout. It is an
sorry guys,
offer,
drunk sounding bad here.
I'll be able to offer US deals and discounts with Games Planet soon too. Anyway, enough of all that, time to dive on into the gameplay.
Avoid corruption. Deny hollow.
Lionheart should have some pretty good insights here for us.
Liu Bei sees chaos in the face of Dong Zhuo and will not rest until the tyrant's corruption is
Look at this.
uprooted and the Han dynasty.
He has +5 public order and -100% upkeep for militia units. This seems a little bit like, you know, Tyrion level OPness for a starting lord. +5 public orders meets everywhere, and 3 militia. It's like, sounds a little bit too much, huh?
Restored. Luoyang lies in ruin,
This
my
is tired
lord.
people.
This tyranny is barbaric.
3 militia sounds good.
What of the people?
Dong Zhuo has fled west to Chang'an, with the young Emperor Xian his captive.
He holds my nephew at sword point.
The coalition delays and wastes time. You are poised, ready to strike
Quick is
now.
very hard.
Though we are fortunate to be under the protection of Lord Gon Xuanzan, the time may be coming to forge our own path.
But yellow turbans and bandits still persist. There must be justice. The people deserve peace.
It looks like it's the same
Your
thing
sworn brothers are
Arkard was
ready
showing
to
us.
fight. Their oaths were bound long ago. Dong Zhuo's treason must face justice. We are arrows on the wind, my lord. We fly wherever you command.
So here we are at the start of a Liu Bei campaign. We've just had the cinematic intro and campaign map flyover, and we're greeted and presented by our first objective: establish your power. And we can do this by achieving 3 things: protecting the Kongrong and Tao Quan, make our way past the yellow turbans, and we can see they've got an army in front of us on the map, and also find a power base to build.
You know, guys, let me stop this for a second. I don't know why they don't have Lionheart for every one of their games, you know, to show us the game and everything. I don't know why they use that chariot guy and or that other guy. Those guys don't seem like they know much about the game. They should use Lionheart for pretty much every of these videos before the game gets released. Okay, continuing on.
Up your strength. And we'll do that by conquering the iron mine that's part of the Dong province. Provinces in 3 kingdoms are called commanderies, and regions are called counties. So we've got our first mission being issued. Liu Bei and his brothers face the Yellow Turban Scourge. So we must defeat the army in front of us, and we'll get the reward of a taste of victory by defeating them. So we'll dive on in and attack them.
There is strength in meekness.
He just said strength and weakness.
With heaven.
So we get the summary of our forces at the top. With our superior forces, our advisors predict a decisive victory. We can't fight a night battle because we don't have that skill, so we'll dive on in and fight it on the campaign map. So moving all my forces forward to engage the enemy general and the Yellow Turban forces.
What the hell did...
Forces. Enemy general and the Yellow Turban forces.
It looks like they glued in the middle.
And they've tried issuing a duel to Liu Bei, which I'm going to decline because he's not the best warrior. So I'm going to send in one of my champions to dish out some damage.
It's like Tyrion is requesting duel against Fey Enchantress. Yeah, she gonna accept that. Maybe if it was not on the battlefield, she might win.
So Zhang Fei is engaged in single combat. He's taken up the duel against the Yellow Turban General. And so we'll watch the duel as they go into matched combat. He's a lot stronger than the Yellow Turban General. The devs did say that for the preview build they had increased the sort of stats and just general strength and power of heroes for the preview build, so potentially we shouldn't see them necessarily as powerful.
What the hell this guy's doing in the background? You see this shit?
And the
stuck with a horse.
General powerful for the preview power of.
So you see what happened here?
Say
the whole unit got stuck behind a horse.
Preview build they had increased.
And they made a conga line.
Sort of stats and just general strength and power.
You see that shit?
Heroes.
That horse.
For the preview build, so
or strong.
We shouldn't see them necessarily as powerful. Oh, and a stab through the chest, and the Yellow Turban General has fallen. So this is just the opening battle of the campaign. We're just forming up with our spears and archers and slaughtering the rest of the Yellow Turban troops. Pretty straightforward and easy battle. Meanwhile, obviously just sending my heroes forward to lock down groups of enemies around the battlefield, which seems to be a pretty valid strategy for using them. So we've gained some coin. We have the option to ransom and release, seize supplies,
lost
or
18.
recruit.
Will be better managed under
because the arrows killed most of them.
So we've completed that mission. We've got a taste of victory reward, which gives us a few buffs and bonuses. Our next mission is to capture and occupy the following settlement, the iron mine in the Dong province. So that's where we'll keep on moving, and we will strike the iron mine itself. Their army has fallen back. It's not being completely wiped out, so it will come in as reinforcements. So again, diving straight on in to the battle map. Obviously editing up these battles a little bit because I don't have time to show you the battles in
archers have a pretty impressive range
for the 20-minute limit that I've got today to show you some gameplay footage. Charging on in with a two-pronged attack on the iron mine, and as we zoom out and survey the battlefield, be able to see the battle map for the iron mine does accurately
banners
show
are
that it
doing
is a
something
mining
weird.
settlement we're attacking.
Can't
There
put
are
my-
towers
my,
on all the entrances.
What's it exactly?
I don't believe that counties, minor settlements, can actually get walls, so they'll always just have these towers. But I think that's fine. And obviously, minor settlements in Three Kingdoms have a garrison. Thank the gods. Definitely didn't enjoy that change in Thrones of Britannia. So definitely happy to see that minor settlements have garrisons once again. Obviously, you can put troops in them as well with an army. So again, just leading the charge with my heroes because they're just such powerful units. They can break through the enemy line. Meanwhile, I'm just bombarding the defending troops with my archers, which we saw slightly earlier. They have the option for
Holy shit, man,
flaming
those
shots
archers should
as
kill.
well.
It's
Using the
accuracy
God of
over
War
barrage.
ability now for one of my heroes, which does a fair bit of damage to enemy units. So I'm actually dismounting Zhang Fei here. So I just want to run him on in. We are charging him into spears, and I thought probably best not to slam him on in there on his horse. So in he goes.
And the graphics in this part look terrible.
So these are the
Look at the terrain.
on his horse.
This is like PlayStation
So
1 shit.
Slam him on in there on in. We are charging him into spears, and I thought probably best not to slam him on in there on his horse. So in he goes. So these are the reinforcements now as we've cleared out the garrison. Meanwhile, I've sent Guan Yu to capture the victory point. And there we go, we win. There was a little there at the start. I don't quite know what that was for. So we've got options to occupy, loot and occupy, or sack and withdraw. And you probably want to pause at those to have a read through them all. But yeah, obviously they give us income and resources and what have you. Our next mission that's been issued is to recruit and maintain 17 units. We currently have 50.
Questbear says, come on, it's PS2. I mean, you're right, man. The PlayStation 1 is way too old. I have to keep up with the times. Yeah, it was PlayStation 2 for sure. PlayStation 2 for sure.
15. So basically, I spent the next few turns recruiting some units. Here we can see the process. You click on the little plus symbol on the right-hand side of your unit bar, and then it's double-click to recruit a unit.
Now,
something they brought into Three Kingdoms from Thrones of Britannia is the mustering system. So when you recruit a unit, it isn't automatically at full strength. And actually, I'm really happy to see them bring this system over to Three Kingdoms, as it's probably one of my favourite changes that they brought into the Total War series with Thrones of Britannia. Here, we're on Zhang Fei's sort of character screen, and we're just giving him the Fury skill. From here we can also take a look at his military tabs. We can see his statistics and his units in his retinue. We can also see relations, and relations are a massive part of Three Kingdoms. Three Kingdoms is essentially Total War characters, probably more Game of Thronesy than ever before. So from here we can see his acquaintances. We can also see, you know, of those acquaintances who he likes. So we can see that his brothers, he's oath sworn to them, whereas Dong Zhao he hates.
What the hell, man? This guy looks like a madman.
He's not on friendly terms there. So you can keep an eye on relations, and obviously that will interact with your characters and their traits. And as your campaign unfolds, there'll be various bits and pieces to engage with your characters as their relationship changes. We can also see here armor. You can equip different armors and weapons, and something that I was super pleased to hear, something I've wanted to see in Total War games for absolutely ages
it's
now.
Me? No, guys. Did I tell you? I cut my beard, cut my hair, pretty much looking exactly like in that picture you see me. You know, I had to go back in the real world for a couple of days, so I had to get rid of my White Dwarf cosplay.
Is that these weapons and armors aren't just 2D models, they've also all been 3D modeled as well, meaning that if you equip a different looking sword or polearm or armor set, that will appear on the character model on the battle map.
This is
something
pretty
I've wanted
cool.
to see for absolutely ages. I think the last time Total War changed the appearance of units when you upgraded them or gave them different armor and weapons was Medieval 2.
Yeah, he's right.
So, yeah, definitely pleased to see that.
In Medieval 2, when you were upgrading
So
armor
we've
and
now
weapons, it
recruited
would show
enough
units.
troops to complete that mission. We now need to hold 3 settlements, including the small city of Langyi to the southeast. Obviously, you can see that is the provincial capital of that commandery.
Means you have all the resources within its counties, plus the income from its population and the capital's districts.
So once you claim all of the counties,
Features like this, you know, they're unique to, you know, specific Total Wars. Like, they don't want to do it in every Total War, so it's like they don't have to put effort into something like that. Instead, they put some effort to something different, so we, you know, they say it's different. Can you imagine we had such a effort in Rome 2? The units would look so much better if we had something like that in Rome 2. But it was only the Medieval 2 that was upgrading units like that.
within a commandery, then you can issue an assignment, which is essentially Three Kingdoms' version of edicts. You basically assign characters to carry out different assignments which have different bonuses. We can see the different stances here for Liu Bei's army. Normal stance, encamp stance, ambush stance, and force march. I'm going to encamp him here and recruit another unit
they love their
of
force
archers
march.
before we move in on the city itself in a siege.
So guys, let me ask you a question, you know, is this like what I'm missing here? You see the units? Why are the figures like in the background? You see, it gets like a shape. Is this like some kind of Chinese thing, or I'm missing something here? Or they're missing models because it's you know, preview build. You see the unit cards? They only pretty much show weapons and a mount, but the figures are like faded, you know, in the background. This is like, I don't know. Is this like the new card style they're trying on? Is to highlight the weapons and shields. So only the weapons are highlighted, you know, like the sword and the shield, like the bow. So basically, just give you a literally, it's like the light polearm infantry. It's this unit here, and you can see the polearm. Doesn't look like a polearm, looks like a spear. Peasant militia armed with polearms and expendable but versatile main force on the front lines. Is an anti-infantry role and it tires easily. I don't know, man. This reminds me of Rome 2. The unique style, you know, I really prefer when you can actually see the units. This is like, and you know, guys, when you're playing like a Warhammer, even Medieval 2, right, let's say, and you see the unit card of dismounted feudal knights or the chosen, and like, shit, this unit looks cool. I want to just put more within the army. It's like, it's a nice looking unit, cards, and you see, you know, you see what you get. An army looks nice. They're good on the battlefield. You're happy. Here, it's like you're getting weapons, bunch of weapons. You get a number with a bunch of weapons here. It's that don't even have any feel like it's a chosen or dismounted feudal knights or the Praetorian Guard. You know, that feel you get with the unit card that actually, you know, present on the battlefield. See, just a bunch of weapons on the shaded figures.
Their experience to fight the tougher battles, while making sure you don't waste them on doomed battles.
So, just having a look through the different, you've obviously got Archer Militia, and one of Liu Bei's sort of bonuses is that militia units.
And another thing is, what is this bar here? This is like the tier of the unit. Like this one is a tier 1, and this one is like tier 2. Did we miss something like that?
Hold on,
sorry guys.
Look.
Is that say tier somewhere? What are these bars? Is it like the tier of the unit? Or it's maybe experience? Like, how are we gonna tell the difference between the unit just looking at the who has armor? Who has these guys have no armor? And this looks like overall all the same units. Like there's like qualities average from the looks of it here. Maybe the units were not upgraded yet, and you upgrade these units for later. None of these units look like they have any armor.
Through the different uses, you've obviously got Archer, Militia, and one of Leo Bay's sort of bonuses is that militia units get free upkeep. And that's not just his army, I believe. I think that's across all armies within his faction. Going to have a quick look at Reforms, which is Three Kingdoms' version of the tech tree. And you can issue a new reform every 5 turns, I believe. And they span through a variety of different areas, from philosophy and trade to government reforms, agricultural reforms, industrial reforms, and military reforms. And obviously, they'll all carry out different boons and bonuses. They'll also unlock new buildings, new units, and what have you.
Reforms look like technologies.
So we're now ready to attack Langyi, and we're going to move on in. Now we get the opportunity to annex if we want to without even fighting at the cost of 50 unity. Unity is Liu Bei's special faction-specific mechanic. It functions, from what I can see, very similar to the legitimacy mechanic of Kirken from Thrones of Britannia, because you could also use that to annex factions as well. There's other bonuses to it which we'll explore
peace, just
at
war.
a later date.
And have several strategies
So
available.
here, sieging, we can actually use tunnels. Tunnel under the walls to break down the walls, and obviously rams. Now I was super excited when I saw the tunneling option. I was hoping it was going to be like Rome Total War's tunneling system, where you could actually see them sort of dig under the walls, which is
just gonna break the wall.
Unfortunately, that's not quite the case with this. It basically means if you go for the tunnel siege equipment, it means that there will be a hole in the wall, a breach in the wall when you start the siege, which we're going to jump straight on into now. So you can see that hole in the wall that was caused by the tunnel. It's a shame that you can't
that hole in the wall looks
choose
familiar.
Which part of the wall you want to tunnel. I don't know quite how the game dictates the area of the wall that it will tunnel and destroy, but hey ho, at least we've got
look at those guys dying like flies behind the wall.
Towers as well. I'm assuming it's probably a reform that adds that technology in. But anyway, I want to show you guys a siege.
See what's happening there, guys?
Well. So again, going for a 2-prong.
This is the same AI they used before. So we get the same amount of brain cells, and that's fine. So the wall is breached. The air getting shot at. They're getting shot at.
Basically,
and
part of the wall
look what the AI is doing. He's running. They're running around, redeploying instead of trying to block this with shields.
Dictates.
So look at this. Look at that unit there. They're getting shot, and they just turn their backs to the arrows, and they're taking serious casualties. Instead of holding a bottleneck on the wall, they're just moving around, trying to redeploy, insert the movements of the player. Again, you know, the headless chicken AI when you're sending the approach. No defensive positions, and they're just taking arrows.
The area of the wall that it will tunnel and destroy, but hey ho.
You see how this unit turned their backs to the arrows?
But at least we've got.
Why would these guys need to move? It's a siege. They have a bottleneck here. So nothing has changed there.
I assume there will be siege towers as well. I'm assuming it's probably a reform that adds that technology in. But anyway,
look at this. They're turning their backs to arrows. I understand they don't have shields or armor, but why are they turning their backs to arrows? These walls look worse than Rome 2. Look at this texture here. PlayStation 2, guys. The thing we get similar cities in Warhammer, making cities like this just makes the AI look much worse. So you either get, you know, a city that can maybe give you some challenge, or get a city that is looking much better with zero challenge involved.
Show you guys a siege.
It looks like it's been flattened by a, what's the thing called that flattens rocks? That big ball machine that has that bigger, almost, what is it called? Guys, help me here. It's winter. That big thing that has that rolling thing that just steamroller. Yeah, steamroller. It almost looked like it was steamroll there.
In the game as well. So again, going for a two-pronged attack. Sending Liobe towards the gate behind the ram. And I'm sending my infantry up the walls. They've got grappling hooks which they throw on top, and then they climb on
up. That big machine that makes things flat.
Zhang Fei leading the charge.
This is my favorite
on
part.
The right flank.
Somebody, I'm not sure who was it, but they sent me this video here. This is the video they sent me here. Look at the same bug with the gates present in Three Kingdoms, same as in Warhammer. The gates are open.
Here, I believe there's a bit of a...
And the ram is bigger than the gate. Look at this design, these dimensions.
Bug with the gate not actually showing because I'll...
Look at this.
Zhang Fei leading the charge on the right flank. And here, I believe there's a bit of a bug with the gate not actually showing because I'll pan the camera around
the same
other
bug
side and it will show that there is a gate there.
Same bug in Warhammer
here. The build of the game that we were on was apparently 2 months
Look
old.
how fast this thing destroyed the door. That is so unrealistic. Zero resistance, the door just breaks.
So the devs have already tweaked and changed a fair few things, and obviously
that is this shit makes what the fuck
in development. So hopefully things like
just
that.
get those guys with chopping axes. They'll chop the door down. What's the point of me building that ram?
Will be sorted by release.
Okay. This is the next thing. This is the next thing, guys. Grappling hooks on top of the wall. So the guys, this is a high wall. So like you have to be like a. I don't know what kind of endurance and stamina you have to have this. You have like a 3-meter long spear. You might have a shield. You might have a weapon, armor. So you're supposed to climb. We believe that these guys climbed on the top with these long spears, all their equipment, and they can still fight on top of the wall. Or they put their spears in the pockets, like in Laval. They put it in the inventory in the bags, and they climb on top of the wall. They just take out the bags like nothing happened. Look at this shit, man. What is this ninja bullshit?
Sorted by release.
Look at this. He just climbs on the top, and out of the pocket he gets that big spear out. Nobody has this much endurance and stamina to climb this shit like this. The ladders are just make-believe, you know. It's like the units have them next to them and just put them out to put them on the wall. You know, it should be same like this. Not these ropes, ladders. Same as in Warhammer. Warhammer ladders was a good thing. They need to Warhammer ladders in this. It's just a make-believe they're carrying the ladders while they're running towards the wall for the sake of convenience, so the AI doesn't get batshit crazy and does stupid things like running with a ladder around the city for 5 minutes like in Medieval 2. But look at this, man. They just climb the wall and they have their speed out. My immersion just poof, it explodes. This climbing looks so bad.
Through the breach with some of my swords, and moving in against the enemy cavalry with my spearmen, while more.
If you know why this is important, you know why this is important. Oh man, what's that clip, man? Know why this is important. I will show you why it's important to have the ladders ready when the unit is close to the wall, or these ropes. The ropes just look bad. I should have kept the ladders. Hold on. This is a clip from Nerd Age Fitness. And this is why this is important.
Why?
This unit has no ladders, no magical ladders or no magical ropes. So they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do.
Oh, the siege battles, isn't it?
That's why you need those ladders, make believe like they're carrying them. They're carrying the ladders and they're, you know, climbing the wall. Not this bullshit ropes or this. You remember those days when the historical total sieges were good? Look at this shit. And this is not an old thing, man. This was this is the Empire Divided. This was 2018, I think. Maybe late 2017. And they have not changed this shit. This is why you give units magical ladders, you know, for, you know. Just believe they're carrying the ladders to the wall and they're putting the ladders on the wall. But they make it even worse. They make those ropes. Ropes make no shit. This just looks bad.
I have no idea.
What the fuck, man? This this cracks me up every time. Look at that shit, man.
Oh, the siege battles.
This shit
isn't
is
it?
wrong.
Why?
Just look at that, man. Look at this.
I have no idea.
What the fuck? Come on, man. Ah, man.
Of my spears, take the walls themselves, capture towers, and then I can move up with my archers. So here we'll see some of them scaling on up the walls, going on in.
Guys, tell me I'm crazy. You know, I don't want to sound racist or anything. They all look the same. It's like light orange guys, bright orange guys. Who thought this was a good idea? Look at this shit. For a second I thought they were fighting each other, friendly fire and shit. They look the same.
Enemy archers that were placed atop the walls.
You zoom out and there's just big orange blob fighting themselves. Why they say have the same uniforms? Why does the neighbor of the orange guy has to be orange guy as well? This is messed up.
Go for a nice pan across the top.
I can't tell the
Troops
difference.
fight for control of the walls themselves.
I can't tell the difference, guys. You zoom
Meanwhile,
out, you're not gonna see shit.
troops through the gateway, which obviously we
You see this?
open.
They're the same.
Arrows raining down on both mine and the enemy troops.
Look at this guy. They're supposed. What is that?
Send Liu Bei in
How
now
you tell the difference?
to support the troops that have crashed on through the gates. So you'll see this. The sort of characters give a bit of banter throughout the battle, and in fact, something I'm not showing you at all, just because it would take up too much of the sort of.
It's because the unit card is the same. It's the same unit.
Only 20 mils. Meanwhile, we've also
I think you're right. Might be right. It's the same unit.
The gateway, which obviously we rammed open.
No, this is a campaign battle. This is the same units. One is I don't know what the color is. This is like faded orange and bright orange. It's like some of the guys have old uniforms, and these guys have new uniforms. Like this is the troops trained 5 years before, and these guys have new uniforms from this year, brand new equipment, and they're fighting each other.
Arrows raining down on both mine and the enemy troops. Send Liu Bei in now to support the troops that have crashed on through the gates. So you'll see this, the sort of characters give a bit of banter throughout the battle, and in fact something I'm not showing you at all just because it would take up too much of the sort of valuable time of gameplay that I have to show you, only 20 minutes today, is that in the sort of loading screen in for battles, your characters will sort of talk to one another about the situation, about the battle that they're about to face. So it's a nice little touch there. But again, there is a massive, massive focus with Three Kingdoms on characters. We're probably not going to get to see a huge amount of that, to be honest, in the gameplay today, because it's at the very start of the campaign, and we're only just starting to develop relations between characters. But the whole structure of the game is very much centered and focused around your characters, who they engage with, what they do in battle and on the campaign, and that will be reflected in the sort of traits and bonuses that they gain across.
So far what I've seen, the archers look so dangerous. Why even get units without shields? It's like the archers just killing 10 guys per volley. It's like the people are just dying so fast. Nobody has armor. And why even use guys without shields?
The course of a campaign. So, can definitely feel a lot of sort of Crusader King-esque vibes from what will occur with your character. Should have some interesting tales and stories happening.
Confirmed, you can marry your sister.
Again, definitely really looking forward to getting hands-on for longer with Three Kingdoms at some point in the near future, I hope, so that I can explore characters and spies. That was something I didn't get a chance to try out in this, because I actually managed to play through about 15 turns. Going in for another duel here.
After you, your brothers are next.
The thing is, let's go back to the cavalry. When they make a cavalry like this in the game, the cavalry no longer is what cavalry is supposed to be. Becomes just expendable special forces to give you some kind of advantage and punish the enemy out of position. They just become, it's like horses, they grow on trees. And not that the horses, they are supposed to be expensive. You know, if you can afford a horse, armor, food for the horse is more expensive than food for your peasants. It's like totally expendable unit. Totally expendable units. Like, horses mean nothing. Horses should be like wealth. If you can get cavalry, you're rich. Not just throw horses in a battle like they mean nothing. Super squishy, die fast. Just the opportunity unit that's super expendable.
You against Wang Yun. Hopefully I'm not completely butchering the pronunciation. If I am, well, Three Kingdoms isn't out until the 7th of March, I believe, so I've got some more time to practice.
What happened there?
Three Kingdoms isn't out until the...
You guys see that shit?
If I am, well...
He's stuck in thin air.
Three Kingdoms isn't out until the...
Look at the guy on the right.
If I am, well... Three Kingdoms isn't out until the 7th of March, I believe, so I've got some more time to practice. Oh, that's it. Lob him over your shoulders. He's fleeing from the duel. He's run away.
History will remember your
Yes, it shall. So he's running off. Although I imagine he doesn't get to escape with his life, surely, because he's in a siege. He's got nowhere to run. Unless, because of the character focus with Three Kingdoms, there's a chance that he can escape.
Guys, I have to tell you, ROM to look better on
which I guess
on
would
these
be
previews
cool,
and high building
he has
and this shit.
Escaped. He's run off the map.
And we all know how that turned out.
Meanwhile, we're just moving on through the rest of the city to mop up their troops.
Holy shit, he's running faster than a horse.
How much variety there is to battle maps and siege maps in the game. He's fleeing from the duel.
Look at his speed, man.
He's run away.
History will remember your shame.
Yes, it shall. His life, surely, because he's in a siege. He's got nowhere to run. Unless, because of the character focus with Three Kingdoms,
that's insane.
There's a chance that he can escape. Which I guess would be cool, because technically he has escaped. He's run off the map. Meanwhile, we're just moving on through the rest of the city to mop up their troops. We're interested to see how much variety there is to battle maps and siege maps in the game, and how that's reflected with
look at the horse!
Population growth and what have you in higher tiers of cities. Hoping that population...
You see that guy run away?
On through the rest
Look
of
at the speed of the horse. Look at that guy now on the horse.
We're interested to see how much variety there is to battle maps and
look at that commander moving on a horse. Pay attention now. Look at this.
How that's reflected with
that horse is moving slower than the guys running on foot.
Population growth and what have you in higher tiers of cities.
Jesus,
hoping
man.
that there's a lot of unique maps.
At least you know when the High King is running fast in Grimgor, you know he has four horsepower. Those guys that carry him, you know, it's fantasy. Like those dwarves, you know, they're just running really fast, having their king, you know, hop, hop, hop. Grimgor, you know, can't keep up in their heavy armor. But that guy running so fast with his with that sword in his hand, and this guy on the horse is slower. This guy is running literally faster than the horse.
Terrain.
In snow.
In China, obviously, and across the Three Kingdoms map. Yeah, still a bit of banter between the characters. So, pulling Zhang Fei back on in, but the morale
look at this, he's running.
He's
not gonna catch him. This guy is running fast. Look how fast this guy is running.
Is mine.
Look at that distance.
So that's all the gameplay recording I can show you for now. Hopefully more soon. However, there's still a fair few more features I want to talk about in this video, so I'm going to throw up some screenshots and probably use a couple of the Three Kingdoms trailers that are already out while I talk about some other bits and pieces. So, population makes a return to the Total War series with Three Kingdoms. However, it's more of a growth and economic feature. It doesn't directly affect military recruitment, which it would have been cool to have seen population levels change upon raising new armies and troops. However, I believe population levels do affect replenishment rates, so I guess it's a bit of an indirect effect on your armies there, as obviously they brought in that mustering system too. As for building,
this picture we get here reminds me of. Sorry guys for interrupting. This reminds me of. You see how smooth this is? You see this shit? And this is you know what you were getting. Look at the smooth screenshots. Look at this. This has all been doctored with. You know, guys, I played Rome 2 on extreme settings. The highest you can. This is what they were showing in 2013. Look at this shit. Look how smooth this is. Look at this. Look at how this is like. I mean, you get one of those people that you have to doctor this shit for you to look at it like this. And this is what we were getting, you know, when the game was released. This is what we were getting. See this? I've been seeing this a couple of times. It's, you know, you need a powerful machine for this shit. And this is what was shown. And it taken me 5 years, 3 different computers, and a $4,000 computer to get the game looking close as this on extreme settings. You see this shit here? This is the ambush battle. This is where they basically give you your hardware test, And even if you go into this now with a $4,000 PC on the highest setting possible, extreme, you don't get a quality like this. Look how polished this is. So 5 years later, and a $4,000 PC to get extreme settings that run over 30 FPS in big battles, and it doesn't. It looks close as this, close like this. So it makes you wonder, look at this. Look how polished this is. There's no flaws on this picture. No flaws. It's like there's some kind of polishing guide that just polish everything to look good. Full shots.
Things and settlements. It seems that it's much closer to Thrones of Britannia than, say, Total War Warhammer. Minor settlements are like Thrones of Britannia settlements, where they're just single slots. For the most part, obviously, Thrones did have some that were dual slots. I don't know if that's the case in Three Kingdoms. All the minor settlements I came up on were just single slot buildings. So you build them up across that chain. I don't know if there's maybe going to be diverging points. Hopefully there will be. But as for provincial capitals, your towns and cities, it seems that they
this
get
horse doesn't look right to me.
Mainline building slots.
Horses
for
look
the
better
city
in
or
round
town
2.
line, and then it looks like there's 3 additional building slots for other buildings within the settlement itself. Be interesting to see if
this is how armor looks like in
your
unit.
city to a
This is the
large
regular
city
pajamas,
or even an imperial city,
and the guy with armor gets
if whether that unlocks
some
more building slots.
on the shoulders and the back and the front.
Seems pretty limited, unless maybe there's a lot of work that's gone on behind the scenes to really force you to specialize and vary your settlements because you have fewer building slots, perhaps. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I do feel that settlement building and management is something that in future Total Wars, if they've not done it in Three Kingdoms, definitely
the horses look very wrong,
overhaul.
man. I don't know, maybe they're Chinese horses.
Added. I guess time will tell how much of that has made its way into Three Kingdoms.
This looks like one of them horses from the it's like they're taking the horses from the White Walkers in the Game of Thrones. This doesn't look like a healthy horse to me.
Of the diplomacy options, but it will definitely be something I come back to and focus on in a future video for sure. But the options overall do look pretty good. Obviously, region trading is back. Huzzah! At long last. You've got the ability to form coalitions, as well as other diplomatic options and trading other resources, such as food. So that all sounds pretty good. Food in particular is very important for keeping your military supplies up so you don't take attrition, obviously, so your settlements don't starve. So that's going to be probably quite a useful resource to be able to trade. They've also categorized all the diplomatic options under 4 diplomatic deal categories. You've now got war and peace, trade and marriage, alliances, and diplomatic treaties. I really hope that these added and improved diplomatic options breathe greater depth into the game, which is something that CA have said, that's what they're aiming to do, add more depth into diplomacy. I mean, on the surface, these new options sound great, but I just hope that the AI actually uses them, and that also you, the player, are kind of forced at times to consider these diplomatic options too. In fact, after the Siege of Langyi, that battle we had at the end of the gameplay footage today, I actually found myself at a bit of a food shortage, and food is quite an important resource in Three Kingdoms because it also affects your military supplies, and then obviously your armies start attritioning if they're not well supplied, and obviously your cities as well. So I found the ability to trade.
Yeah, let's go check one of those guys that are not really yes man. What they say about this shit? We need to find a no man. No man. We heard to some yes man. Let's go find a no man. Well, I think the biggest the non yes man is this guy. Let's see. Let's hear what he has to say.
Greetings and salutations, friends. Let's talk Three Kingdoms Total War, because a lot of gameplay has been released today, and
In my opinion, at least, it is looking janky.
Unless you're a Yes Man, you're like me watching Yes Man, because they don't want to get the No Man, you know, to do early stuff on the game. Not like I would anyways. So you have to end up searching YouTube, scavenging the bits and pieces. Let's see what he has to say.
The AI in particular is looking,
I have to.
Frankly, downright dreadful, and I'll be showing you some examples here to demonstrate.
What did he say?
Here we have an example. I'll be showing you some that is looking, and in my opinion at least, it is looking jankier than usual. The AI in particular is
jankier, I will agree with that.
Frankly, downright dreadful, and I'll be showing you some examples here to demonstrate. Here we have an example by Hugo Tester. I'll be using some footage from the other YouTubers who received access at an event, so I'll be leaving links to their videos in the description below.
What the hell?
The AI is using Archer Militia to choke point a gate, whilst it has 2 units of spear infantry, mind you, just wandering around on the other side of the map. And this, by the way, is also shortly after the AI simply just abandoned the walls. The AI has several units in the city doing precisely nothing, and in fact those spear units, they never entered the battle until the player captured the city centre, thereby automatically winning the fight. The AI seems to have absolutely no concept of how to defend a city anymore, to the point that it doesn't even understand how to stay on the bloody walls. And no, I'm not kidding, this is the result screen from another Let's Player, Mr. Smart Donkey LP, in which he lost 32 men in an offensive siege battle. And to make matters even more ridiculous, the only things that killed something on the enemy side was 1 unit, who killed 9 dudes, meaning that the remainder of the casualties were inflicted entirely by friendly fire. And again, the army defending that settlement had the same kind of retardation. Here we can see 2 of its archer units simply just standing in the city centre. They never moved from that spot until they decided to simply just flee near the end of the battle without ever having fired so much as a single arrow in anger. It's almost as if they try to recreate the Rome 2 defensive siege AI, which would keep strategic reserves back from the front line and send them into the battle later. They just forgot about the fact that if you're going to use strategic reserves, you actually need to deploy them into the fight at some point. Another problem might be the fact that the Rome 2 cities can be pretty damn large, have lots of choke points, and be fairly intricate, practically labyrinths. This city is none of that. It's basically a Warhammer siege battle, where you have a wall, and then you have an inner courtyard, which, if you're lucky, is going to have a choke point or 2, which might contribute to the AI not understanding how its reserves works. But, Arch, you may say, the AI has always been mind-bogglingly retarded, this is nothing new. Yeah, perhaps, but this sure as fuck is. This is the AI being blocked by its own barricades, which it itself deployed in a defensive siege battle.
Oh man, you can't make this shit up!
Worse, they are even incapable
you can't make this shit up!
The goddamn...
It's like Attila flashbacks!
Retarded, this is nothing new. Yeah, perhaps, but this sure as fuck is. This is the AI being blocked by its own barricades, which it itself deployed in a defensive siege battle. And to make matters just a tiny little bit worse, they are even incapable of destroying the goddamn barricade blocking their path. So the pathfinding has possibly actually gotten worse, which is quite the achievement in and of itself, and as for open field battles, it does not look to be all that much better. this is an end result screen from Lionheart, in which his army of 1,400 against 700 yellow turbans, and he lost 18 dudes. The yellow turbans ran towards his line briefly, engaged in a few seconds of combat, broke, and then all ran away. As you can see by the fact that virtually all of Lionheart's kills were on his archers. In fact, only 2 of his spearmen...
We said that the archers were broken.
Killing almost a whole 30 dudes.
Those arrows fly and everybody just dies.
A total of 423 casualties.
The damage on these archers is so broken that you just need to half it. Just make it 50-50. 50% less casualties. Archers are supposed to do damage, not just shoot people and they die. Same shit like in Shogun 2. Stupid broken archers.
Hopefully, the AI will perform better once it has more elite units, but so far, this genuinely looks like some of the worst AI in Total War in total, which is quite the achievement. But let's look at some other things. So, heroes are able to bash down gates. In fact, in this clip here, they are able to bash down the gate before the ram even arrives.
Nothing new.
Yay.
We had that in our other fantasy game.
Racked down by swords, spears, and halberds, which is, of course, very lovely. Ropes are back. They simply just haul them from their asses and climb the walls. And yes, they do somehow leap up the top of the wall. Probably just a visual bug. Alongside this one, for example, where the gate simply just fails to render. Then we have this lovely thing here, which I found on Darren Total War's Twitter. In this case, CA apparently
what the hell?
To add in new collision detection systems to the buildings. And there is also a rider, which apparently dies the moment he makes contact with the building. Total War at...
This is ROM 2 level of shit.
So a rider detection
What
systems.
Is that?
CA apparently were too lazy to add in new collision detection systems to the buildings. And there is also a rider which apparently dies the moment he makes contact.
Man, this is not funny. This is not funny.
Total War at its bloody finest. In other equally encouraging news, this is now how matched combat looks. The poor bastards with the halberds are swinging at absolutely nothing. The archers don't even seem to register the fact that they are in melee and simply just continue firing their bows, never even once trying to reach for the melee weapons holstered at their belts. It would appear that CA has simply just given up on making combat look like anything that actually resembles combat.
Good thing they spent time making a DLC trailer before the game was even released, instead of fixing those things.
Units randomly waving at one another. I've also seen some of the dual gameplay where, again, the exact same problem appears. Here, for example, we can see a dude fighting Guan Yu, who apparently doesn't even know where Guan Yu is bloody standing. This is even worse than in Warhammer, where again, there wasn't any matched combat except for between the big baddies, but at least there, units would swing in the general direction towards the enemy.
Guys, this reminds me of man, this I'm sure everybody has seen this video a million times, but you know what this is? This is this shit all over again. Hold on, let me just load this shit. It's this shit all over again. All over again.
What the fuck?
It was highly organized.
All it does is this be the lived in fuck, but yet who has now for ad fucking him.
Happening anymore.
Turn 100.
Hold on, where is it?
I'm waiting more than I'm playing. After you complete your turns, even if you turn off the unit animations for the AI,
hold on, it's here, it's here.
It takes 4.
The outcome of a battle or a fight.
This what it reminds me of.
Or this.
Or a new system.
Watch this.
So we've introduced a new system in Rome 2, which gives the AI much more sophisticated forward modeling or prediction of the outcome of a battle or a fight between two specific units.
Or this.
I'm getting serious flashbacks to this.
The AI
best part is coming.
is trying to win the battle, so it will do whatever increases or maximizes its odds of winning.
The first few times I've seen this shit, I was laughing like I've never laughed in my life. But the next few times after that, I was like just sad. I get this sickness in my stomach after hearing that guy and watching this.
We have invested more resources into improving the battlefield AI than I think we have in any Total War game to date. Fixing bugs, polishing and iterating on what we've had previously. So the AI really has to be able to sort of think on its own rather than just do set things that we tell it to do.
Oh my god, this is... Enough. Enough. I hope that guy is no longer working at CA.
Last here, they have...
May I link this video? Hold on. You want the 3K one or the ROM 2 one? This is the ROM 2 one.
Swinging 45 degrees off center. I mean, you have to try to aim this poorly. But hey, on the bright side, you won't have to see as much of it, as apparently on ultra unit sizes, cavalry will be a mere 30 dudes strong, and it has now been confirmed through one of the videos.
This is probably one of the worst things they've done. What is saying right now?
The mighty on ultra unit side UI to aim this poorly. But hey, on the bright side, you won't have to see as much of it, as apparently on ultra unit sizes, cavalry will be a mere 30 dudes strong, and it has now been confirmed through one of the videos, the max army size is 18 units. So, you know, every cloud has a silver lining. You will be seeing less of this.
So it looks like the amount of soldiers in every unit has been downscaled. It looks like the cavalry units are much smaller. God, I have to say it, guys. I have to say it. Are you ready? It looks like we might actually see this on consoles. I have to say it, guys. It looks like that to me. It's happening. Get ready to buy that the fastest Xbox and PS4 edition. I have to say it. It's happening.
It's terrible combat because there will simply just be fewer units on the field. A small part of me had almost started to warm towards this game, but the recent bout of gameplay has cured me of that particular problem quite thoroughly.
So we're getting China. You know, China. What's China known for? You know, one of the biggest populations on the planet. And it's not just happened in the recent years. The scale of the wars back in those days, millions casualties, millions. And we have the smallest unit sizes and the smallest armies known to date. In a China, I mean, alien kingdoms, I mean, 3 kingdoms stole a war. tiny, tiny compared to some what we've seen. 30 horses. When we had in the past units of 80 horses, when the whole Italy maybe had 84 horses. I don't know, guys. You know, I am not playing to play this game. Why am I hell and then complaining and ranting? It doesn't bode well for our Warhammer people, you know. It doesn't bode well, because if this shit doesn't do well, we might suffer in other Total Wars.
There are a couple things that I do like. The banter between the heroes, that seems pretty cool, and the friendship system, where heroes of similar disposition who serve alongside one another will develop relationships and have banter on the field. That's quite nice.
Jonathan Miller says, remember when Genghis Khan rampaged across China with 18 horses and killed 30 guys? Oh my god. It looks like that.
Sadly, it's all in English right now, and heavily accented British.
So guys,
English.
yesterday, you know, instead of me binge watching Fortitude, having fun, playing some Elder Scrolls Legend new expansion while doing it, no. You know, I've had to watch this shit, and you know, I had to it's like upsetting, you know, when this is all going. This is like Rome 2 level of shit. And they try to hide it all behind new campaign features, all those 3D weapon models, fancy new looking technology tree, you know, just hidden behind this shit. It's like it's sort of polishing the system, the battle system, so we can get some kind of Warhammer variation with all those formations and everything. What's the point of all these formations? It all looks bad, you know, when the core is rotten. So they just try to, you know, what do you say? They just try to, you know, cover our eyes with this new stuff instead of making the basic stuff bearable. 30 horses in cavalry unit, exploding riders when they touch the walls, infantry guys running faster than the horses, guys swinging at thin air. Ninjas climbing the walls. This is like worse than Rome 2. Rome 2 looked way better in the videos when in 2013. Even the graphics kind of look better than Rome 2, guys. I have to say the Rome 2 graphics look better than this shit. You know. When you see shit like this, you go here, and instead of, you know, following the game, getting news, you just click ignore. You don't wanna see any more of this shit. I'm gonna go watch meme videos on YouTube instead of playing this shit, wasting my time learning a new strategy game, and it's you know, doesn't look like it's gonna have any replay value at all in the first place. Let alone it's gonna look at this shit, man. Like, what they're trying to recreate here, some kind of movie. It's never gonna happen in the game. They're gonna explode on the walls. They're never gonna have that much man in the center. $60 for this shit. I had declined already one time. Somebody's trying to send me this gift. I declined already once. Like, I don't even want to put the effort or energy further, you know. It's like, this is gonna be a one-day thing, guys. Everybody need to watch this video today. Everybody. We're gonna put in a link. And I don't want to waste any of my energy anymore on this game. Today is one time. This is one-time thing, guys. One-time thing. Don't come to me next day showing this, or in 3 years when they're gonna make it better like Rome 2. This is a one-time thing we're making to show everybody not to buy this shit.
To boot, I really hope there's a Chinese language option for that, because for some reason, having a bunch of Chinese dudes speak English to me just feels really, really odd. There is also the retinue system, where your heroes will have their own little army.
Oh, Alex, you're so toxic! We don't like you anymore.
And you can disband them and then raise them again with that same army, with the units maintaining their veterancy, etc. That I do like. I do wonder what happens to the retinue if the character dies.
I just feel sorry for the people who are excited about this
that
game.
Is a pretty cool mechanic.
I was hyped and excited for this game until I saw that ambush video. What I have seen, just some shitty Attila gameplay put in some unknown land that I have no interest in. And this just confirms everything I've been fearing.
Most of the other stuff announced in the official CA video is stuff that we already know about and have had previously. The court system, character classes, followers, items, etc., and stuff like that. They will change appearance based on their items, which is neat. I mean, back in Medieval 2, entire units will change appearance based upon their upgrades, but hey, at least this is better than nothing, I suppose. Another neat thing is that settlement battles are back, which is good. And then there's the siege battles themselves, which are less impressive than I had hoped for. They are essentially the siege battles from Warhammer, but in this case you can have up to 3 walls, which is of course wonderful. No internal walls as of yet, and considering the fact that once you use a ram to bash out an outer gate, the ram explodes, I'd be very, very surprised if there were any more than 1 set of walls. A small step forward, to be sure, but...
I mean, at least it's not this. At least it's not this, guys. Hold on, sorry for interrupting me. I don't have this shit all prepared, you know. I'm just make it up as it goes. You know, it just brings back memories, pleasant memories from from these games. At least this doesn't happen.
Is obvious. Now what I think is, like, part of me saying, oh, well, maybe you're not supposed to use them. Like, maybe you're only supposed to use them with 1 regiment and not anymore. I don't know why.
He's capturing a wall. And the TNT that was placed, what is here, 10th century? I think it's 10th century. Just totally killed their unit. So he captured the gateway. He captured the wall. And hell, you rewarded. Half of your men are dead. Half of your men are dead. The TNT blown your shit up. Look at that face there, what happened. Look at his face. Let's go look at it again. So he think he's winning here. He's killing stuff on the wall. He's about to capture the gateway. Before we continue, the developer of this game, I think, actually lost his general when the things exploded. The developer was playing this game, and his general died when the wall exploded. It's like he didn't even know the TNT was in the towers. The developer of this game. This is one of the worst things about the Thrones of Britannia. But look at this. This is pretty much the same shit.
Now what I think is, like, part of me saying, oh, well, maybe.
Look at this.
Maybe you're not supposed to use.
Look at the number of his units. He's winning.
Maybe
here.
you're only supposed
He's about
to use them with 1
defeat the enemy
and not anymore.
Capture the gate.
I don't know why that would be the case. I'm done. There we go. Right.
You know, this didn't bother me that much, you know. I didn't rage quit over this. I rage quit over AI backstabbing. Like, they know they're a player, they just wanna struggle you. So, constant, you defeat 3 stacks of this faction, you're about to recover your army, they're recruiting faster than you can replenish. They keep coming with 3 stacks here, 3 stacks here. It's like never ends. You defeat everybody, and they just come with more. They broke the game. It was broken before they broke it further. So you end up fighting for days and days and days. Endless stacks. Where is the manpower? They get like they get a whole army before you can even replenish for 2 turns. And you defeat those 3 guys, and then another guy just declares war because you're the player. They have to make you interested. You just keep fighting them. Keep fighting them. Never ends. And when you're fighting the new wave of the enemies, the first wave recovers, and there it goes again. Endless battles of no end, and that's how they create difficulty in Thrones of Britannia. People will complain it was too easy, and now they just broke it.
Still miles away from the glory of the siege battles that we used to have. Now, a note about the graphics. The graphics just look wrong. Like, they look kind of derived of color or bland. They look pixelated. It might be YouTube murdering the resolution, murdering the look of the game, but it all just looks...
I think they murdered the game already before it was released.
To me. Hopefully this is because maybe they played the game on a lower setting, perhaps, or because it's a derpy build without all of the graphical options implemented, but it just doesn't look very nice at all. And considering this is the same old godforsaken engine as always, you would at the very least expect it to look as good as previously. At the very least, you wouldn't expect it to look worse. So,
I understand I sound like a big naysayer of this, but it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. I'm no yes man here. I'm done with their shit, man. It's like, I'm just gonna say what it is. Sometimes we're gonna make things just worse, complain about bad things, but you know, you also have to can't keep up with this. You have to, you know, also say, you know, what's good. But when the whole game looks rotten before even the release, it's like, what's the point? There's a big naysayer.
To summarize a little bit, the AI looks bad, really, really bad. The balancing looks severely off, and the game looks rather buggy. Now, in clarity, the version that the YouTubers were allowed to play was apparently 2 months old. Now, this being Creative Assembly, I would take that with a pinch of salt, and the game is going to be released in a month, so they would have had, at tops, 3 months to fix all of this, which in game development terms is not a lot of time, especially considering they need to actually have the finished version ready a bit before release. And with Creative Assembly's track record of titles like Empire and Rome 2, yeah, feel free to color me.
This game is coming, guys, in like 5-6 weeks. I would highly recommend not to buy this, pre-purchase this. Wait for at least for 3 to 4 weeks. See what the people are reviewing. Watch it on Twitch. Watch it on YouTube. Watch the people who play it. Wild Bill, I think, will be streaming it. For sure. You guys know Wild Bill. So watch Wild Bill. See what he says. And wait at least 3 to 4 weeks before you even consider buying this shit. Because I don't think they're gonna fix shit in 6 weeks. They might fix it in a year or more, if you're interested still, and then buy it on sale.
Skeptical on that one. On the bright side, all of the YouTuber impressions I have seen have been full of praise for the campaign mechanics, whilst being suspiciously silent about the combat, so if nothing else, it looks as if the campaign might be decent, whilst the battles are, well...
It's just crazy how much they fucked up this after Warhammer. You know, I started to believe there are no multiple teams, you know, working on these things, but when you see what they've done with Warhammer, and now what they're doing with Three Kingdoms, it must be multiple teams, because this is totally different quality level compared to Warhammer. I think we were crazy to expect a historical game will have the quality level of Warhammer, because it feels like it's a different team, while, you know, the time differences between the content releases and what they're doing, it feels like there are no multiple teams. But the level of quality in Warhammer and level of quality in this is like, can't even compare. Can't even compare. Except some of these new campaign features and mechanics, it looks horrible. Horrible. I'm getting those vibes when they released Empire Total War, and when you enter your first land battles, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Alt F4, go back play Medieval 2, because it has 10 times better land battles.
That's what we have seen right here. All in all, this recent bout of new information releases have not made me any more optimistic about the game. If anything, they've made me rather worried, to be honest. This game does not look ready for prime time, and it's out in a month. There will supposedly be more information coming out soon-ish, so I hope to see something a little bit more promising then. Or I would hope to see an announcement that the game is being delayed. One out of the two.
I would not be surprised if they delay the game. They can't release this mess, man. Unless they add a miracle, this shit is gonna be laughed like ROM 2 levels. And people have all been fooled enough. Yeah, I can't wait for Angry Joe review as well. We're gonna watch it together, guys, when he releases it.
Anywho, I will, as mentioned, be adding links in the description below to the videos I've used as sources here, and please do tell me what you think. For me, it just looks kinda really bad, which on the one hand is positive because it means Creative Assembly is showing us the very bad, but on the other hand, it also means that the game is looking, well, bad. Oh, and of course, still no sign of the supposedly historical mode.
Oh, man. You know, why I've been showing you this, guys, today? I've been seeing it yesterday. I've been, you know, I decided not to watch it. I said to people I'm not gonna watch it. I'm definitely not gonna play it. Forget it. It's not happening. You cannot request this game. I will not be playing it. Can't do anything about it. It's not happening this year or even the next year. Maybe I play it in 2021. Maybe. Before, it's not happening. So, it does not bode well for the rest of the Total War stuff. I'm having the worst feeling about this, you know, because this does not look good. The rest of the Total War stuff might suffer because this is looking really bad. Really bad. You know, even if the game was working flawlessly, like Warhammer wasn't released, man. Warhammer was probably had one of the best releases, other than Shogun 2, in my opinion. And what? You don't have any variety. Those units all look so bland. Archers are killing everything. What's the point of getting other stuff? The cavalry sucks. I don't see any replay value. Other than some kind of games and immersion you go with the characters. And, you know, painting the campaign map with the Choo-Choo, Zozo, Zink, Zink. I don't even know how to say those names. This is also one of the things, you know, I didn't like playing Trans Britannia. You know, I want English, not people, the language they don't speak anymore at the time. So, I don't see the replay value, guys. Even if the game was perfect. Unless you're gonna wanna have a flavor campaign with a new culture, I just don't see the replay value. I don't see the replay value, guys. It's Shogun 2 all over again. It definitely has more depth. Some of the campaign stuff look good. But all the bad things that are currently shown, it's like just counters all that. Diminishes it. Sometimes it's nice, you know, to see, you know, how was the warfare on the other side of the world. That's like one of the only things that Shogun 2 has. You know, you want to see the warfare, how it was happening in Japan at that period. You want to see how the warfare is happening in China at that period. How were they using armor? What kind of armor were they using? What kind of weapons? What kind of range weapons? How much cavalry, artillery? You know, this is, you know, cool things to see. But I really don't feel it in the battles. I feel it on the campaign map with all those characters in the foreign language, but I just don't see it in the battles. Those unit cards are dreadful. It's like half the units don't have armor and just get killed by the archers. It's like another Shogun 2 level of archer overpoweredness. Archers do not cause casualties. They're more there to cause damage and break the enemy morale. Getting a shot, wounded. People die after the battle from the archer wounds. They don't cause that many casualties. They made the whole China better trained than the Wood Elves. So it's interesting to see how the warfare works in China that period. You know, all that, the whole system, the formations, weapons, equipment. That's really interesting to me to see. But I just don't see the replay value there though, because there's so many bad things that just gonna diminish it. So there's definitely gonna be some novelty thing, some nice new mechanics, but there is no replay value in my mind. The archers just kill everything, man. It's bullshit. If I play a historical total war, I want battles that last more than a couple of minutes. Some of the people that I know personally, you know, over the years that played a couple of the battles have told me they played 2 battles in 10 minutes. They played 2 battles in 10 minutes. One of those where they were on pucks. 2 battles in 10 minutes. This is what we're supposed to be, a StarCraft player. Just click, get the results. What about the enjoyment of the battle, the flow of the battle, seeing some shit done, formations, some tactics, you know, orc tactics, just kill them all. It's just, you are in the battle for the results. It's so fast. You're just there for the results. You can't really enjoy it. New meta game, what you say? I don't know, Fjalovic. I don't know. Meta scares me. I don't see any tactics there. Archers kill everything. AI is running around battlefield like headless chickens. Horses explode on the contact. I don't know, guys. I'm really upset right now, and I don't even gonna play the game. I'm not gonna play the game. This video was meant for the people who ask me why I'm not gonna play the game. So if I'm gonna play the game, just gonna be linking them this shit. I don't see replay value, and that's the main reason why I'm not gonna play in the game. I'm not gonna invest time into a game that doesn't have replay value for me. There is poor variety, and all these issues are very troubling. On 15th of February, it's bad timing, Fjalovic. Maybe later this year. Maybe later this year. Yeah, we're talking about Three Kingdoms. We've just been watching some videos. We've seen Lionheart do that siege. He had barely lost any guys. The novelty of the game is definitely attractive. Some of the new stuff is attractive. But they feel like there's going to be so many issues. And I also heard there's not going to be naval battles. I'm just going to check Angry Joe's review. This is it for me for Three Kingdoms. I'm not going to watch anything else. I might check the game sometime 2020 or 2021. But that's it. We are boys on Warhammer 2. We are on Warhammer bandwagon, waiting for more Warhammer 2 content, new DLCs, new patches, new updates, and waiting for that great Warhammer 3, where we can start the campaign in January and not finish before March. And we can read whole books while waiting for our turn. It's gonna be great. Elich out.